Hello, welcome to the basic mathematics class of simplelecture.com. In today's session, we are going to begin the second chapter, that is permutation and combination. Now, what are we going to discuss in today's session? We are going to discuss introduction to permutation, definition of permutation, the factorial notation, the fundamental principle of counting, and the various types of permutations. So, why we have to study permutations? Let us try to understand this first, and then we will have the introduction to the chapter permutation and combination. See, in our daily life, the order or the arrangement of the objects and the selection of the objects are very important. Take for example, you have 2 shirts and 3 trousers. Now, what are all the ways in which you can dress up with these 2 shirts and 3 trousers? Is it not very interesting for you? And in a school, arrangement of the students in the form of either the height or the intelligence or the gender is also very important. And take for example, at your houses, the groceries which you buy, you are going to arrange it in a suitable fashion so that selection of that is going to be very easy whenever it is required. And also take another example, that when you go to a fast food restaurant, there are 4 types of breakfast items and 2 types of sweets, and again 3 types of the drinks are there, like coffee, tea or milk. Now, in how many ways you can select a breakfast when you go on one fine morning to that fast food restaurant? So, like this, you take n number of examples wherein the order or the arrangement of the objects and the selection of the objects is very important. So, if we talk about the arrangement of the objects irrespective of their order, we call it as permutation, and if we take the selection of the objects, then we call it as combinations. So, we are going to begin today's session permutations and combinations with the introduction to permutation first, and then we will proceed with combinations at a later stage. Introduction to permutation. You know, just now I have mentioned that a permutation is a way to arrange the items or numbers if order matters. And to know if order matters, think of this problem. So, whenever you have the arrangement of the objects or the items in which the order matters, let us take an example. If you are trying to visit 3 cities, does it matter which one you visit first? Let us suppose you are visiting 3 cities. Does it matter which city you visit first? If it is a business trip, then the order probably matters. So, if you are going on a business trip, the order probably matters because your boss would have suggested you to visit a particular city first and then go on with the next city. And of course, you may have to go to a particular city depending upon the distance, wherein you can cut short the money that is spent on visiting these cities. So, therefore, if it is a business trip, then the order probably matters because your boss wants you to spend the least amount of money possible. So since he wants you to spend least amount of money possible, he may ask you to visit a particular city first and then go to the next city. But if you are going on a pleasure trip, that is it possible to fly certain routes more cheaply than others? However, if this were for your own vacation, in other words, if you go for a pleasure trip, does it matter for you? Perhaps you would not care in what order you visit these cities. But when the order matters, it is a permutation problem. So therefore, whenever you are going to arrange the objects in a particular order or a particular fashion, we call it as a permutation. And in permutation, the order matters. I hope you got it, right? So, let us define what is a permutation. So, the different arrangements of a given number of things by taking some or all at a time are called permutations. So, the different arrangement of r number of things by taking, the different arrangement of n things, that is totally n things, by taking r things at a time, we call it as the permutation. So, when we say r things, you can take few of them or you can take all of them. So, arrangement of the total number of objects by taking few objects or all the objects at a time, we call it as the permutation. See, the best example which you would have observed is on the roads. You will be watching that there are various types of vehicles. There are two-wheelers, there are four-wheelers, there are sometimes the eight-wheeler vehicles. So, the buses, lorries, trucks, the cars, scooters, bikes, all these will have what is called as a number plate on which a number will be present. Now, how the RTO gives these many numbers? You must have seen, if it is a Karnataka registration, first two letters will be KA, then next there will be two numbers which represent the area code, and next represents a letter, alphabetical letter, then next represents the four numbers. So, if we say KA 05R and some number 4007, that means KA represents Karnataka, 05 represents the Jayanagar registration, it is the area code, and R is the alphabet, and 4007, that is the four digit number. Then how the RTO arrives at such numbers? You know, they can make 9,999 registrations in these 4 digits of a number with one alphabet. Just now I told R. With R, they can make 9,999 registrations. Like this, if you take all the alphabets A to Z, imagine how many registrations can be done. How is this done? This is what they do by using the permutations. So, permutations is the orderly arrangement of the objects by taking few at a time or by taking all at a time. See, let us take few examples here. All permutations are arrangements made with the letters A, B, C by taking 2 at a time. So, out of A, B, C, the 3 letters, take only 2 letters at a time and do the arrangements. How many arrangements are possible? We can have AB, BC, AC, CA, BC and CB. So, here we have 6 different types of arrangements when we have 3 letters and we are taking only 2 letters at a time. So, out of 3 letters, taking 2 letters at a time, we can have how many arrangements? 6 arrangements. What if we take all 3 letters at a time and arrange them? How many arrangements are possible? See, if all permutations made with the letters A, B, C taking all at a time are ABC, ACB, BAC, BCA, CAB, CBA. Again, 6 type of arrangements are possible. So, such type of arrangement of the numbers or the letters or the objects or the items by taking few at a time or all at a time, we call it as permutations. I hope you have understood this. So, a permutation is an ordered combination. In other words, it is an ordered combination. You are combining the words, letters or the objects. So, to keep in your mind, if we say permutation, what you should remember? Position. So, to help you to remember, think permutation as position. So, how you position the letters so that you get different arrangements. Okay. Now, if n distinct objects have to be arranged in a row, then first place can be filled in n ways, second place can be filled in n minus 1 ways, the third place can be filled in n minus 2 ways and so on. See, let us, you take, there are 6 persons. Now, you have to make them be seated in one row. So, in how many ways you can make them be seated in a particular row? So, if there are 6 persons, then you can check, you can do or you can make the first person to sit in the first place in how many ways? In 6 ways you can make him sit. Okay, you can make a person to sit. Then you have made one person to sit already. Then there is second place. So, out of 6, how many are remaining now? 5. So, therefore, 6 minus 1. So, you can make the second person to sit in how many ways? 5 ways. Like this, the third person to sit in how many ways? 4 ways. The fourth person to sit in how many ways? 3 ways. The fifth person to sit in how many ways? 2 ways. And finally, the last place, how many ways a person can sit? Only one person is remaining, one person can sit. You got it? So, the total arrangements can be written as n into n minus 1 into n minus 2 into dash dash like this, finally 3 into 2 into 1. So, n minus 1, n minus 2, n minus 3 dash dash up to 3 into 2 into 1. So, but how do we write that mathematically? So, when we write like this, can we write it using a mathematical notation? So, how do we write it mathematically? So, for this purpose, we use the factorial notation. So, in order to represent this orderly arrangement of the numbers, we use the factorial notation. So, what is factorial notation? The products of the first n natural numbers, it is denoted by n factorial or factorial n. So, you know what are the first n natural numbers. So, they vary from 1, 2, 3 up to n. So, they can be represented by using the notation, that is factorial notation. It is represented as n exclamation mark or a L symbol with n inside. So, it is read as factorial n. So, we should read it as factorial n, or you can also call it as n factorial. So, the product of the first n natural numbers is denoted as 1 into 2 into 3 into dash dash up to n as factorial n, or it can also be written as n factorial is equal to, if you write it in the reverse order, it will be n, n minus 1, n minus 2, n minus 3, like this 3 into 2 into 1. So, n factorial is written as n into n minus 1 into n minus 2 into dash dash up to 3 into 2 into 1. So therefore, if you have 4 factorial, so now n is how much? 4. So start from 4 and go on writing it up to 1, the product, by reducing 1 at a time. So that means you will get 4 factorial is equal to 4 into 3 into 2 into 1, which is equal to 24. What if you have 6 factorial? So start from 6, go on reducing 1 up to you get 1. So 6 minus 1 is 5, 5 minus 1 is 4, 4 minus 1 is 3, 2, 1, and whose value is 720. So according to this definition, what should be 0 factorial then? So 0 factorial means the number, starting number itself is 0. So that means it is meaningless, right? You cannot further split into factors. So what we do is, here we make a convention that 0 factorial is always equal to 1, or 0 factorial can also be written as 1 factorial whose value will be equal to 1. Did you understand? So 0 factorial by convention we take it as 1, but otherwise 0 factorial is meaningless. So here we take it as 1. I hope you have understood this. Now let us go to the formula of NPR. Now what is NPR? First you should understand that. So the number of all permutations of n things taken r at a time is given by NPR. So there are totally n objects. You have to take r objects at a time and do the arrangements, and this is what we call it as a permutation. So NPR is the notation which is used to represent the permutations. In other words, it is the permutation of n things by taking r things at a time. Got it? So NPR, it is nothing but equal to n into n minus 1 into n minus 2 dash dash up to n minus r plus 1. Because if you are taking r things at a time, then you are going to get n minus r plus 1 as the last term. So n into n minus 1 into n minus 2 into n minus 3 into up to n minus r plus 1. Okay. It can also be written as NPR is equal to, using factorial notation, how do we represent the permutations? So it is represented as NPR is equal to factorial n divided by factorial n minus r. So either the symbol exclamation can be used like this, or you can use the L symbol like this. Both are one and the same. So we read it as n factorial or factorial n divided by factorial n minus r. So NPR formula is factorial n divided by factorial n minus r. Now one thing you should note here, the value of NP0. So what is NP0? So that means there are totally n things. You are not selecting anything at a time. So you are not selecting anything out of that. There how many arrangements are possible? If you use logic. So if you use logic, if all the items are there, nothing you are selecting. If all the items which are there, that itself will be the arrangement or the order. You can do it in one way, right? That means NP0 is 1. What is NPN? So NPN, it is n factorial. In fact, you can get these values by using the formula also. NP0, if you put factorial n divided by factorial n minus 0, which is n factorial. So factorial n gets cancelled, you will get 1. So NP0 is 1. If you have NPN, then you will write factorial n divided by factorial n minus n. You know factorial n minus n is factorial 0, which is equal to 1. So therefore factorial n by 1, which is factorial n. So hence NPN is n factorial, NP0 is 1. I hope you understood this. Now let us go to the fundamental principle of counting. Very, very important. What is this fundamental principle of counting? So just now while giving the introduction, we took an example that you have 2 shirts and 3 trousers. Then in how many ways can you dress up? Right? So, for the first shirt, you can use all the 3 trousers, as well as for the second shirt, you can use all the 3 trousers. So, therefore, in how many ways can you dress up? So, you can dress up by wearing the 2 shirts, as well as for each of these arrangement or the selection. That means if you take the first shirt, you can wear that first shirt with the 3 trousers, any of these 3 trousers. And if you take the second shirt, you can wear the trouser again in 3 ways. So, therefore, shirt can be worn in 2 ways and the trouser can be worn in 3 ways. So, therefore, in how many ways you can dress up? 2 into 3, 6 ways you can dress up. Got it? How? So, first shirt, first trouser, 1. First shirt, second trouser, 2 ways. First shirt, third trouser, 3 ways. Like this, second shirt, first trouser, 4th way. Second shirt, 5th trouser, 5th way. Second shirt, the second trouser, 5th way. Second shirt, the third trouser, 6th way. So, like this, you can wear in 6 ways, and this can be found out by using the logic that in how many ways you can wear the shirt and how many ways you can wear the pants or the trousers. If you multiply both of them, you will get the total number of ways in which you can dress up, and that is what we call it as fundamental principle of counting, or it is also called as fundamental counting principle. In short, we write it as FPC or FCP. Both are one and the same. FCP, fundamental counting principle. FPC, fundamental principle of counting. Both are one and the same. So, fundamental principle of counting states that if one operation can be performed in m ways and corresponding to each way to performing the first operation, a second operation can be performed in n ways, then the 2 operations together can be performed in m into n ways. That is what I told you. If you can wear the shirts in 2 ways, and for each of these shirts you can wear the 3 trousers, then in how many ways you can dress up together if you want? Then you can dress up in 2 into 3, 6 ways. Got it? Okay. So, this is what we call it as fundamental principle of counting, and it is very, very useful for working out the problems at a later stage. I hope you understood this, right? Now, let us take one example. How many ways can 5 people stand in a queue? So, in how many ways can 5 people stand in a queue? It's a very simple example. The number of ways 5 people can stand in a queue is nothing but the permutation of the things taken 5 at a time. There are 5 things, you take 5 at a time. So, therefore, it is nothing but 5 factorial. So, it is nothing but 5p5, which is 5 factorial, and you know what is 5 factorial. It is 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. So, 5 4s are 20, 23s are 60, 62s are 120. So, how many ways 5 people can stand in a queue? In 120 ways they can stand in a queue. I hope you understood this. So, it is equal to 5p5. So, 5 persons are there, take all the 5 persons at a time. So, it is NPR means here 5p5. Okay. Then, how many 3-letter words can be formed using only consonants but each only once? So, you should use only consonants and you have to make a 3-letter word, and each consonant should be used only once. You cannot use more than once. Then how many words can you form? So, now you know the alphabets can be classified into vowels and consonants. So, what are the vowels? A, E, I, O, U. So, A, E, I, O, U, 5 vowels. If you take it out from the alphabets, how many consonants will be there? 21 consonants will be there. So, out of these 21 consonants, you have to make a 3-letter word. So, that means you can select only 3 consonants at a time. So, therefore, you have to do the arrangement of these consonants in such a way that you will get a 3-letter word. So, there are 21 consonants, hence the number of 3-letter words is the permutation of 21 things taken 3 at a time, that is 21p3. And what is 21p3? It is 21p3. See, this can be worked out in 2 ways. One is use the factorial notation formula and work it out, or the other one is use that definition of factorial. So, if you have 21p3, that means start from 21, go up to 3 numbers by taking 1 less each a time. That means 21 minus 1 is 20, 20 minus 1 is 90. That is what will become NP3 or here 21p3. So, NP3 or what is NP0? It is 1. What is NP1? It is n. What is NP2? It is n minus 1, that is 1 into n minus 1. So, like this, if you go on taking the values of NPR, you can write it as n into n minus 1 into n minus 2 up to n minus r plus 1, right. So, therefore, here it can be written as 21 into 20 into 19, this is one way. The other way is substitute in the factorial notation formula. So, 21 factorial divided by 21 minus 3 factorial. So, 21 factorial divided by 18 factorial. So, 21 into 20 into 19 into 18 factorial divided by 18 factorial. Both 18 factorial in numerator and denominator gets cancelled. So, you are left with 21 into 20 into 19. So, which is equal to 7980. So, therefore, you can form 7980 words, that is 3-letter words, using the 21 consonants. I hope you have understood this. Now, let us go to the various types of permutations. So, now what are the various types of permutations? Very important, because the problems which you get in the examination will be based on these types of permutations. So, the first type, when a certain number of things always occur together. So, whenever you are going to arrange the objects, you have to arrange the objects in such a way that certain objects will always be together. So, let us take an example so that you will understand the concept better. So, example 1, in how many ways can 7 people be seated in a row for a photograph if 2 particular people always want to be together? So, let us suppose that there are 7 persons. How do you make them be seated for taking a photograph? In how many ways you can make them be seated in order to take a photograph such that 2 persons would like to be there always together? Did you understand this? So, how can we do this one? Now, let us suppose those 2 persons, if you take persons as A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So, A to G persons are there. Let us suppose in this the F and G persons should they would like to be together always whenever that photograph is taken. So, that means if you take out those 2 persons so that you can make them be together, then how many persons will be remaining? Think, there will be 7 minus 2 persons. If you take it out, you will have only 5 persons. So, that means these 5 persons can be arranged or be seated in a photograph in how many ways? And these 2 persons whom we have made as one or who want to be together all the time, in how many ways we can make them sit together? That is what is the question now. Got it? So, consider the 2 people who want to be together as one unit. That is what. F and G would always like to be together. So, make them as one unit, take them out. Okay. Then number of permutations of remaining 5 people plus this 1 unit. So, 5 people are there plus 1 unit is there. So, they can be seated, that is 6 units is how much? 6 factorial. So, by that means 2 people you make them as 1 unit, the other people. So, 5 things, make this 1 unit, add to that, becomes 6 units, or the 6 items, take all the 6 items at a time and do the arrangement. So, that is what you get 6 factorial. Now, for each of these, the 2 people, now in each of these 2 people, they want to be together, but these 2 people who are together, one person can sit towards right sometimes of the other 5 persons, or the other person can sit to the right of these other 5 persons. So, these 2 persons can be further arranged in how many ways? 2 ways amongst themselves, though they want to be together. Got it? Okay. So, therefore, for each of these, the 2 people considered as 1 unit can be arranged in 2 factorial ways. So, the total permutations in this case, wherein you want to make the 7 persons to be seated for a photograph such that 2 persons should always be together, is equal to, so now use which principle? Fundamental principle of counting. So, 6 factorial into 2 factorial. So, one way of doing the things, and for each of this there are n ways of doing the things. So, m ways into n ways will be the solution. So, 6 factorial into 2 factorial, which is 720 into 2, that is 1440 ways you can make the 7 people be seated for a photograph such that always 2 persons will be together. Got it? Now, the second example, how many ways 7 maths books, 8 statistics books and 4 accountancy books can be arranged in a shelf if the maths books are always together. Now, maths books should be always together, whereas the other stats and the accountancy books need not be together, they can get shuffled, but maths book should always be together. I hope you would have got it by now, because one example we have already done. So, the second example you would have automatically got an idea, right? So, consider the 7 math books as 1. So, take out these 7 math books, make it as 1 unit. Then, the number of permutations of 1 unit, that is 7 maths books, take it as 1 unit, plus there are 8 statistics books, plus 4 accountancy books. So, that is totally how many are there now? 8 plus 4, 12, plus all these 7 maths books, make it as 1 unit. So, totally you will have 13 items. So, that is 13 factorial. And for each of these arrangements, these 7 maths books which are together, they can be further arranged in how many ways? 7 factorial ways. I hope you understood this, right? So, for each of these arrangements, the 7 books can be arranged in 7 factorial ways. Now, by fundamental principle of counting, the total permutations will be 13 factorial into 7 factorial. You know what is 13 factorial, you know what is 7 factorial. Just simplify this and get the final answer. Okay? Then, the next type of permutation. When certain number of things occurring together is more than one type. So, we have checked that how one type of the particular items should be together. Now, like this, one type of items which would like to be together, there will be many. Okay, then how to work out that? That is the second type of permutation. So, example, you take the previous example itself, refer to the previous example, wherein there are 7 maths books, 8 statistics books and 4 accountancy books. Then, in how many ways can the books be arranged if the books of the same subject are always together? Now, the togetherness is not only for one item which we discussed in the previous type, it is there for more than one item. Now, you have to do the arrangement in such a way that all these books of one particular subject will be together. Got it? So, consider all 7 maths books as 1 unit, 8 statistics books as 1 unit and 4 accountancy books as 1 unit. Now, each of these subjects number of books, make it as 1 unit. So, if you make it as 1 unit, then therefore, there will be how many total units? 3 units, which can be arranged in how many ways? 3 factorial ways. So, therefore, total 3 units can be arranged in 3 factorial ways. Now, for each of these, in how many ways does maths, stats and accountancy books be further arranged? So, there are 7 maths books. Okay, you are making it as 1 unit, but it is not compulsory that you should keep it only always in the same fashion. These 7 books, yes, mathematics books will be together, but out of them they can change their place. We have not mentioned that whatever way you are arranging, it is once for all, we have not mentioned. So, 7 books can be further arranged in 7 factorial ways. Similarly, 8 statistics books can be further arranged in 8 factorial ways and 4 accountancy books can be further arranged in 4 factorial ways. So, by fundamental counting principle, what will be the total permutations? It will be 3 factorial into 7 factorial into 8 factorial into 4 factorial. When you want all the 3 subject books together all the time. Got it? Okay? I hope you have understood this. Now, the third type. When certain things of one type do not occur together. So, that means when certain things of one type, they do not occur together. Like we have seen now, all 7 books should be together, we told. But sometimes you may arrange in such a way that these 7 books are never together. Then how do we do it? How we are going to work out? So, in how many ways can 10 examination papers be arranged so that the best and the worst papers never come together? So, you have to arrange 10 examination papers so that the best and the worst paper can never be together. So, total ways in which the best and worst paper can never be together will be, you make all the total arrangements and out of that the 2 papers are always together, you remove it. Is it not? So that what will happen? Then never these 2 papers will be together. Correct? So, the total arrangements will be nothing but 10 factorial, because 10 examination papers taking 10 all the time, it is 10 factorial. Out of that, 2 papers are always together. That means these 2 papers make it as 1 unit. So, therefore, remaining 9 papers will become, 8 papers will become another unit. So, 8 plus 1, 9 factorial into these 2 papers can be further arranged in 2 factorial ways. So, 9 factorial into 2 factorial. So, therefore, 10 factorial minus of 9 factorial into 2 factorial is the number of ways in which you can arrange these examination papers wherein never you get the best and the worst papers together. I hope you have understood this. This is the logic which you are supposed to use. Got it? Next, in this session, what we discussed about the introduction to permutation and then we defined a permutation and we discussed about the factorial notation and what is the formula for the permutation of n things by taking r things at a time, and then we discussed about the fundamental principle of counting and we discussed few types of permutations. I hope all the concepts are clear to you. Still, if you feel that you have not understood any of the topics in a better manner, please feel free to post your doubts in the basic mathematics forum of our website. We are always there to clarify your doubts. Thank you.